If you're ever required to investigate relationships between numerical and categorical variables, the best approach to use is parallel box plots. So on the horizontal axis here, you've got your numerical variables, and on your parallel box plots, you've got your categorical variables. Now in this case, we've got 20 to 29 years, 30, 39 years, 40, 49 years, 50, 65 years, which might seem like a numerical variable, but in the way in which the survey was conducted for this group of people, it could have just been categorical. They might not have asked you for your actual age. They might have just asked you, well, are you in this age bracket or this age bracket or this age bracket or this age bracket? That would be categorical, categorical ordinal. Now, it's also important to note that in these cases, your categorical variable almost always is the explanatory, and the numerical variable is almost always the response. It is very rare that it is the other way around. In fact, you should pretty much bet on it never being the other way around. It is always going to be a case that the categorical stuff helps to tell us whether or not there is a reasonable change in the numerical stuff. It doesn't go the other way around. Your job in these questions is not to decide whether or not this is good, or just whether or not there is an association. Not even to tell us what kind of an association there is, just that it exists. You know that there are three things that you would use to describe associations: center, shape, and spread. So if we're looking at these distributions of salaries and we talk about centers, you will notice that the medians are tending towards the right as you get older, as you move through these categories. So we would say, yes, there is an association because the medians start to get larger. It doesn't say that it's good or bad, it just is getting larger. In addition, if we have a look at the spread, we look at the IQR. And just by using a bit of estimation, so you usually have it like a nice straight edge, you can sort of draw some lines on the page if you really want. You could look at the first IQR, which goes between 18 and 30. That's a 12. The second IQR, I'll put 12 there. Second IQR goes from about 21-ish to about 35. So there you've got 16. So that's larger again. Next one along, have a quick look. That looks like a 26. That looks like about a 44. That's going to be something like 18. And the last one goes from 30 to 50. So that's a 20. So you can see that indeed all those interquartile ranges are getting bigger. So yes, the spread is getting larger. And lastly, the shape. Top one looks approximately symmetrical. Next one starts to get a bit more skew. Next one again starts to get more skew again. The last one is very heavily skewed, and it's got all these outliers. So there is a difference between the shapes. Not to say that one shape is better than the other, but there's a difference. And if there's a difference, there must be something going on. So our task here is to describe the associations. And you've got to describe them in terms of center, shape, and spread. Because these here are ordinal, as in they go up in sizes, 20, 29, 30, 39, 40, 49, 50, 65, we can fairly categorize them from lowest to highest. So we can just compare the medians, lowest to highest. We can compare the IQRs for lowest to highest. And we can talk about the general trends in shapes as being more and more skewed. So if you want to try that yourself, you can pause this, or you can wait a moment and see what I said. Here's what I said. I started by talking about the centers. The parallel box plots show that there is an association between salary and age group as the median steadily rises from 24,000 to 34,000. So I just looked at my graph and I drew a little line on the page and went down. So that's a 24 there, because each of these is 2, and that's a 32 there. Okay, so it's going from 24,000 to 32,000. Just change that there. The fact that it is getting larger means that there is an association. Next one. Interquartile range, we looked at it before, it's going from 12 to 20,000. So yes, there is an association between those two. And finally, the distribution of salaries begins approximately symmetrical for the young ones, increasingly becomes more positively skewed as age group increases, with 50 to 65-year-old salaries being highly skewed with outliers at 80, 87, and 110. Your job is to use those three tools, center, shape, and spread, to say, are they different? If they're different, that's what you're looking for, differences, then there is an association. You don't know the nature of that association. You can't make judgments about that association. You can't say if it's good or bad, but just there is a difference. If there's a difference, there's an association. If there's a difference, they're related in some way. If there's no difference, they're not related in some way.